It's Flashcards Fridays, and I'm going to talk about saving your data. This Tuesday's episode was about Adolphe Rome and the destruction of much of his research and writing during World War II. And if you've ever felt your stomach drop when you've lost a file on your computer, then you already understand the first lesson of history. History is not only made by people, history is also made by what survives. But first, a quick word from my advertisers. Whether you are a science communicator, researcher, an academic, a reporter, or a citizen journalist, this podcast is for you. You are all doing hero work, and for that, I thank you. Sometimes survival fails because of ordinary bad luck. A coffee spill, a cracked drive, a misplaced box. Sometimes survival fails because the world turns violent or unstable, and libraries burn, offices are emptied, or research is scattered. And sometimes survival fails because people's devices are taken. During the week of January 14th, 2026, federal agents searched the home of Washington Post reporter Hannah Nathanson and seized her electronic devices. A judge later temporarily blocked the government from reviewing the seized material while the dispute played out in court. And I'm saying this because it is a vivid reminder that even careful, benign work can become fragile in a single afternoon. Today's Flashcards episode has 3 cards. Each card is short, practical, and designed to make your work harder to erase, whether you are a historian, a student, a librarian, or a working journalist protecting sources. And as a quick disclaimer, this is general information, not legal advice. And every newsroom and every person's risks are completely different. So, flashcard number 1, redundancy beats regret. Even when you're in college, right? Save it, duplicate it, put it somewhere else. Here's the idea. Preservation is a system, not a place. If your research exists in only one form, then you don't have an archive. You have a single point of failure. A simple, durable rule is the multiple copies, multiple locations approach. Many people describe it as a 3-2-1 style habit. More than one copy on more than one kind of storage with at least one copy stored somewhere else. You can keep it even simpler than that as long as you honor the spirit of it. And so here's the plain language. First, keep a working copy that you'll use every day. Second, keep a local backup that's not always connected. And that detail matters because accidents, corruption, or malware can always hit always connected drives. And then third, keep an off-site copy that is not in the same building and ideally not in the same neighborhood. For ordinary research notes, redundancy is your friend. For source identifying information, redundancy can widen the blast radius if something goes wrong. So you separate your materials into 2 buckets. Bucket 1 is the work you would be comfortable defending as research. That includes drafts, citations, public documents, reading notes, bibliographies, and timelines. Bucket 2 is anything that can identify a source or expose private communications. And then you treat bucket 2 with restraint. You keep only what you need for only as long as you need it, and you store it with a level of care that matches the risk. Freedom of the Press Foundation described, quote, source protection as a strategy that combines careful tooling with careful decisions about what you collected and retained. And that is the heart of Flashcard 1. Redundancy saves archives, but selective redundancy protects people. So, with redundancy, you can survive accidents and disasters. But that moment when your account fails leads us to Flashcard 2. The cloud helps, but it's not magic. Cloud storage is beneficial because it protects you from common data loss. A stolen laptop does not have to mean a lost project. A house fire does not have to mean the end of years of notes. But the cloud is not a vault that can never be opened or shut. The cloud is still a service. Services can lock accounts, change policies, go down during outages, or become unreachable when you need them most. Also, services can share their data with governments that want it. The goal is not to put everything in the cloud and forget it. The goal is to use the cloud as one layer and plan for the day you cannot log in. So here's the quick checklist. First, keep at least 2 independent destinations or one cloud plus a separate offsite backup. That way, a single account problem does not wipe out access. And second, export in durable formats. Your notes should be able to live as plain text, PDFs, or simple spreadsheets, not just in a single app that may not exist in 10 years. Third, protect the account itself. Use strong authentication, such as passkeys or 2FA, two-factor authentication, and store recovery codes responsibly. A password manager can reduce the temptation to reuse passwords. Also, good password managers alert you when you have a password that's on the dark web. Okay, so the journalist in me is coming out in this flashcard. If you work with confidential tips, separate where a source contacts you from where you store your research. Newsrooms often use dedicated, well-studied channels for sensitive submissions rather than a casual email address on a website. So there are a few whistleblower submission systems that news organizations use to accept documents securely, and they emphasize protecting sources while minimizing metadata. If you are a citizen journalist, note that a generic "Contact Me" inbox is not the same thing as a channel built for confidential submissions, and your storage plan should reflect that difference. Now that you have information for storage and backup, let's talk about disruption, including the kind that comes with legal pressure and device seizure. That said, flashcard number 3 covers threat modeling for ordinary scholars and working journalists. And I can't believe I'm actually podcasting about this, but in light of what's happening in the United States at the moment with the usurping of our First Amendment rights, I feel this is really important to talk about. Threat modeling sounds dramatic, but it can be gentle. It simply means that you ask one question, which is, what is the most likely way I lose this, and what is one habit that I can make it less likely? You don't need spy novel tactics. You just need 3 scenarios. The first scenario is travel, loss, or device seizure. Ask yourself, if your device disappears, what disappears with it? To protect your information, minimize your work. Keep sensitive material off your everyday phone and laptop when you don't need it there. Sync what can be safely synced and carry less of what could harm people if they are exposed. For journalists and citizen journalists, the stakes include relationships with sources. The recent search of a Washington Post reporter home makes that concern feel really concrete because it involves the seizure of devices and raises concerns about chilling effects on sources. Know what is on your devices at any given time. It's simple and responsible posturing to reduce unnecessary exposure. Scenario number 2. Home or office loss. Fire, flooding, burglary, or sudden relocation can wipe out physical materials. Living in LA, close to fire zones, this one is all too real for me. If your situation is geographic and you don't have time to grab your computer tower, make sure you have a backup elsewhere and a small set of essentials that are easy to grab. I learned this the hard way about 8 years ago during another LA fire, and I had to gather all of my research and all of my books, which was a lot, and put them in the trunk of my car, in addition to the kids' suitcases, my suitcases, the dog bowls and food, the cat bowls and food, and my PC tower. So, be prepared. Be very prepared. So that experience taught me the importance of essentials. Moving forward, I learned to prepare only the pieces that help me rebuild my work, including bibliographies, outlines, and dataset indexes. Scenario number 3, institutional disruption. Sometimes a disruption is not personal, but rather organizational. Labs shut down, departments lose access, employers' accounts become disabled, and grants are terminated. In these cases, if your supervisor or editor allows it, know that portability is necessary. Make sure that your work can move with you in standard formats, and you keep your own copy of notes, citations, and drafts. And remember to keep it humane. If legal pressure appears, remember that you don't have to handle it alone. Involve your editor and your organization's counsel and lean on press freedom legal resources that exist for precisely these moments. Your organization might have a special place to put it as well so that you don't have it on you. Please be mindful of the company, the news outlet, or university. Honor their material and let them protect it with their methodologies. And even if you do all these things, the Reporters Committee for the Freedom of the Press maintains resources and legal support focused on protecting sources and news-gathering materials, including coverage and filings. For flashcard number 3, remember, practically compartmentalize by separating sensitive work from everyday life. Minimize by keeping only what you truly need, especially when it could identify a person, and then escalate wisely. If something legal happens, bring in professionals early. If you had a chance to listen to Tuesday's episode about rebuilding scholarship after its loss, then you already know that emotional truth. When records vanish, reconstruction becomes the story. However, this episode gives you a small, powerful alternative. You can design your archive to survive. Here is your one-step challenge for today. Pick one action that takes 10 minutes. Create a second backup. Export your notes into a durable format or separate your source identifying material from your general research archive. Then, as you move forward, pick a day of the week that works for you to establish a reliable backup process that becomes a weekly habit. Because the work that endures is the work that is copyable, portable, and resilient. Thank you for listening to Math Science History, and until next time, carpe diem.